Hello there. I'll be returned to normal. I'm extremely overworked lately. Returned to normal here within 48 hours. I've been cutting leather all day and working hard. Before getting to this alert, and by the way, here I've got proof of what I've been doing for the past 11 hours. These are the backs of alligator wallets, and this is like about 11 hours of work actually. So it's only about 30% done. Before I get to this alert, everybody has their own little differences. I think we all like to separate ourselves from other people. I think it's a natural proclivity. Actually, I know it's a natural proclivity. There have been a lot of studies done on this fact. One of them was a movie where human beings actually dressed up as one group of creatures, face masks and whatnot, and another group of people in a movie series that dressed up as a completely different species. Of course, they're all human beings. And for example, when they take a lunch break at the movie, even though all these people were the same, people identified with the other human being that wore the same facial prosthetic mask, and so we all have this divide and conquer mentality somewhere within our genetic and social makeup, and I'm not really interested in delving deeply into that, but I mean, it's a thing, and it's not a good thing, but it's one of those things that human beings unfortunately do. I myself, and I don't care if you believe this or not, this is an absolute fact. I can hobnob. Obviously, I don't look like it with all these tattoos, so obviously I'm, to certain groups of people, I'd be considered a social pariah because of the way I look. I can sound, more intelligent than the snootiest McSnoot pants, and certainly I'm far better read than most of them, and I can certainly hobnob with them, but I'm perfectly at ease and comfort also too being around people with absolutely no education, that are illiterate. They got a lot of natural and common sense, good old country folk. My neighbor up at my farm is like that. Get along great with a guy. He likes me a lot, and every time he sees me come to the farm, he brings me over a melon. He wants to give it to me and some corn. Last time he brought me over a giant watermelon and a bag of corn. I gave him what money I had on me. I mean, I really get along fine with anybody and everybody. And that brings me to this alert. I'm calling this video alert, and it is a really, really bad trend, and it always forewarns great evil, really. It does, and it always has in the past. And people say, why are you even talking about, and this is an important thing, because I know you're going to ask this question, why are you talking about people like Howard Stern or Jimmy Kimmel or Don Lemon? I'm just pointing those three out, but there have been many of them. Like, these people are irrelevant. They're just like Hollywood nobodies or mainstream media nobodies. And this is true. But the point is that there are a lot of people like this, and there's an enormous section of the population. It's like, why does somebody watch some unintelligent Hollywood person's social media feed? They're smarter than them. They identify with them. They get entertained by that person. People open themselves up to entertainers, and they fall victim to their beliefs. So the only reason I mention these people is not because they themselves are important, and I'm getting to the point here very quickly. It's because so many millions of people listen to, and they believe, and they fall for it. It's like, yeah, I agree. This guy, I've been watching this guy for years, and I'm going to listen to what he says, even though if they were to think about it, it's completely illogical and nonsensical. Anyway, Howard Stern and Jimmy Kimmel and Don Lemon, and there's a lot of other people, have lately, very eminently lately, been dehumanizing a lot of people. They're setting up a medical apartheid, whether you recognize it as conscious or as some sort of social current of unconscious manipulation. These people, and I can't remember the exact quote from Howard Stern or from Jimmy Kimmel, but basically what they said is that if some unjuiced person, you know what I mean by unjuiced, were to go to a hospital, that these people should not be waited upon or helped. Like say some unjuiced person, broken arm or, had some sort of, gaping wound or something. They literally said that, if they showed up at the hospital, that these should be the last people to be helped because, who are they? They haven't been. That is extremely evil. It harkens back to a time in various cultures, both in America and South Africa and other places where, if it, this idea of, you lesser human beings, you need to go eat in that part of the diner or, sit at the back of the... It sets a dangerous precedent. And this subconscious social current, I don't care whether you think it's innate to human beings or not. There have been a lot of studies done on this. I'm not going to argue it. But I will also not argue the fact that it is evil and it always bodes harm and negative effects. And there are millions and millions and millions of people listening. And I only mentioned 3. There's not just these 3. There have been many others say this exact same stuff. They've been saying extremely dehumanizing things about other human beings. I mean, that's just as ridiculous as the notion that some unjuiced person should not be given medical attention if they need it. As, like if a smoker comes into a hospital, like, well, that person's a smoker. They obviously, why should I, give medical attention to the smoker who, just been in a car accident? They obviously don't take life very seriously because they, smoke cigarettes, or maybe, somebody else does, like why would I help this person survive since, they take illicit substances? If I were to say something, if I were some sort of huge celebrity like Howard Stern or Jimmy Kimmel, and what if I said something as ridiculously absurd, illogical, and unintelligent and unwise as saying that, some smokers should be the last people to be helped at a hospital for. You mean that would be insane? People would jump all over any celebrity, well, as they rightly should, to say stuff like that. And yet these people are getting away with saying this stuff, and that is going into the minds of the people that listen to and follow these people, setting up that sort of dehumanizing, human apartheid. And that's exactly what it is, based upon, the juiced versus the unjuiced. I'm trying to carefully say this, is that, if I myself were to hear anybody, espouse such nonsense, I would trying to be very professional here, and say I would very vociferously, intelligently refute, rebuke, and, verbally go after, somebody that would say something that heinous. It is heinous. And once you start dehumanizing people like that, then the next step, as history has always shown, it's like, well, they're far, far less than me. They're not even human beings, because these are the 2 people that are... You can't let human beings go down that route. And I'm seeing a lot of it. There's been, an explosion of it recently. You tell me what you think on this, but it's very dangerous. It should not be happening, and yet you have all these people that are getting away with this, saying this stuff at high levels. And I don't mean these people are important. They're not at all. They're just rich, paid talking heads that have absolutely no intellectual, great worth. They're not men of wisdom. They're entertainers. And yet people listen to that. And they take it in. Well, I've been listening to this guy on the radio for decades. They eat up what these people say. They should not. I know that, and you know that if you have a half a brain. This divide and conquer and dehumanizing of other people like that is always evil. It always leads to greater evil. And it should not be allowed to go on. You know, people should, not using the word scream, but they should yell and protest and scream over stuff like that. It cannot be allowed to happen. It cannot be allowed. It has always, always, always led to evil. It has never, ever led to anything good. It has not. It has always led to evil. The fact that I'm seeing so much of it, and it's not like out of some random wacko, some goofball on the fringe, holding, the end of the world is nigh on the street sign. You tell the person's missing a few screws, right? We're not talking about those people. The people that millions and millions and millions of people, and there's way more than just those three, millions, countless millions of people are watching, are saying this heinously evil stuff that leads to way, way more evil things. And that should not be allowed to continue. It should not. I mean, whether people protest outside these people's place of work or send them an email or something. I'm not saying to do that. I don't ever tell people what to do. But that's just nothing but evil. I'm sorry I've not posted many videos recently. I've been insanely busy. If I look sleep deprived, I am. My house smells like leather cement, barge cement. I got a can of it down here. But that's what I've been doing, so. But I'll return to normal in 24 to 48 hours. I'm normal now, other than being sleep deprived. But I really wanted to make a video about that because it's so evil. I want to hear your thoughts. If you hear other people or friends, and I don't ever tell you what to think or do. It's none of my bleeping business what anybody does in their lives. I work hard to make my life simple. You can only control yourself. But I mean, if you hear other people talking like that, I mean, there is a time to protest. And I don't mean grabbing signs or whatever, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, verbally protest people, saying and stuff like that. People have at least here in America anyway, people have the right of freedom of speech. But I mean, that kind of stuff is just so evil. It's really bad. It's a medical apartheid, they're the lessers, these are the unjuiced people. They have plenty of opportunity. And when you say that when they go into a hospital that you should not wait on them, you should just let them suffer and croak or whatever because, these people have the opportunity to get juiced. Why should I give them a medical attention? I mean, how dare those people say stuff like that? I mean, how dare they? Not only is it wrong and illogical, it's flat out evil. And it is born from the deepest, most pitched wellspring of ignorance. It absolutely is. People have put these people, the ones that I mentioned, up way on a high pedestal. And you cannot accept, without a verbal challenge, stuff like that to be said. Because so many millions of people listening to those people. There has to be a counter to that, and the counter, of course, is facts, logic, and wisdom. And these people are doing the exact opposite. They're spewing ignorance, evil, and divide and conquer, and specifically dehumanization. It really is dehumanization. So, anyway, tell me what you think. Goodbye.